Good morning, learners, and welcome to our today's science lesson. That is going to be on animals, and we are going to major mostly on the classification or classifying animals. So, you remember our last lesson? We were looking at weather instruments, and we looked at air and liquid thermometer last, for which many of you were not getting the questions well. So I sent to you some PDF notes. Then I expected that at least now you are somewhere. So I'll test you later to see if you are able to get the questions or not, so that we can move knowing that all of us are okay with the past lesson. So welcome to our today's lesson, for which we're going to begin by looking at the meaning of classifying animals. What is classification? So classification of animals is simply grouping the animals which have common characteristics together. So under that, the first class of animals are the vertebrates. We have the vertebrates, and finally, number 2, we have the invertebrates. So we need to know what the meaning of whatever we have written, the definition of whatever we have written here. What are vertebrates? So now even what I don't write, vertebrates are simply animals with backbones. These are animals, all animals with the backbone. So we are going to see what is the backbone there. All animals with the backbone. A backbone is simply a row of bones running at the back of an animal from the head to the tail. That bone running from the head to the tail. Like somebody can draw a fish. A fish may look like that. So we normally have a fish, from the head we normally have bones that run like that up to where its tail is. The way I've done it there. So this one is a backbone, the way it is. So meaning a fish is among the vertebrates that we have. A fish is an example, very good example of vertebrate, because you can see the bone that runs from the head to the tail. This one is called a backbone. You can feel your own backbone. There is a bone that runs next to your spinal cord. It runs there from the head, it connects your body until your waist. So that is called a backbone. Hence, human beings are also very good examples of vertebrates. Then after learning that, we're going to look at what are invertebrates. And invertebrates are animals without, now, is the opposite of vertebrates. These are animals without backbone. These are animals without the backbone now. These ones are with backbones. And then the opposite of that are invertebrates. These are animals without backbones. So vertebrates are further classified into 2 groups according to their body temperature. Namely, we have warm-blooded animals, and cold-blooded animals. So we begin with the vertebrates, that is number 1. So we need to know further classification. So A, we're going to talk of warm-blooded animals. Then finally we'll talk of the cold-blooded animals. B, we talk of cold-blooded. So what is the meaning of whatever we just said? Warm-blooded animals, warm-blooded animals are animals with a constant body temperature. These animals we have come here as warm-blooded. They have constant body temperature. So their characters, these ones have constant body temperature. So now you may need this. Animals which are warm-blooded, we can also term them as having constant body temperature. And again, a constant body temperature does not change even when the surrounding is hot or warm. Take an example of human beings. Whether you go to a very cold place, your body will remain warm. You only need to put on a sweater because the environment is very cold to maintain your body temperature, because you have a warm body temperature. And again, yeah, our temperature will remain warm depending on the, even if it is hot, warm or cold, they remain the same. Then cold-blooded animals, we have also one thing here. The cold-blooded animals, these ones have the body temperature is changes with the surrounding. Constant body temperature, inside the meaning. When you have constant body temperature, meaning your body temperature will remain the same. Meaning that the body temperature remains the same whether in a cold or hot environment. Whether cold or hot environment. And then B, we talk of cold-blooded. The cold-blooded animals will change. These ones change their temperature. Their temperature changes according to the environment, to the immediate environment. That is very important. You're going to learn this under characters of this certain animal, and also know that once you say that an animal is cold-blooded, you must know that its temperature can change according to the environment. Let's take a very, very good example of an animal that is cold-blooded. Take for example, a snake. A snake is cold-blooded, and a snake will always bask on the sun in the morning. All reptiles, like for example, a crocodile. That's a very good example that you normally interact with a number of times when you go to Mamba village. Crocodiles bask in the sun in the morning. Why? To maintain their body temperature. Because you saw when they come to a cold environment, like in the morning where it's normally cold, they are running to the sun to bask because they want to maintain their body temperature. Their temperature is always, they are normally cold, they are cold-blooded animals. When they go to a cold place, they become, their body temperature remains. How many changes according to that environment. So we got to classification of vertebrates, and we continue from there. Classifications of animals, of vertebrates, I mean. Classification of vertebrates. These animals with backbones, how do you classify them? So vertebrates are classified into 5 main groups. And A, we have mammals that we have just mentioned. Mammals, okay, let me just name them first, then we will come to describe them. Number 2, we have reptiles. Then C, we have the fish, or some can say fishes, because we have a number of them. D, we have the birds. And then finally, we have the amphibians. I've just named them like that so that we can now go into them well to know how each one of them behave. Number 1, we have talked of mammals. So mammals, most animals found at home, most of the animals at home there, most animals at home are actually mammals. Take for example the cat that we have there, we have a cat. Examples, we have a cat, we have a dog, we may have human beings themselves. human beings. Human beings. We have sheep, the sheep, camels, donkeys, etc. There are so many cats, a dog, a human being, a sheep, a camel, donkey, and etc. Other mammals are found in the forest. We can name them. In the forest we have a giraffe, we have a lion, and we have so many animals that have backbone. Those are animals that have, we talked of the backbone. And a backbone we mentioned very clearly is a bone that is a row of bones running from the back of the animal to the head or the tail. So those animals are so many. Most of them are big animals. All big animals have backbones. And we can see a cheetah, bats, monkeys, rodents. Those are animals in the forest. In the water, we also have another category. There are some that stay in water, and those one that stay in water, these ones are staying in land. So we can add some few examples here. The ones in the forest, like lions, cheetah, giraffes, etc. Then those that live in water, here is where now Lana you must be very keen because they come in examination a number of times. We'll have a whale, a very good example. A whale is not a fish. A whale is an example of a mammal. Then we have dolphins. A dolphins also stay in water. They are mammals. We have seal. Seals are a good example of a mammal. And then we have walruses. Walruses is a very good example. It's also living in water. Then we have porpoises. Porpoises is another one. Porpoises, these are many. Porpoises is one. So porpoises, seal, then walruses, then we have whales and dolphins. These animals I've mentioned here, Lana, they live in water and they are mammals, they are not fish. Then we continue, Lana. We now go to the characters. What are the characters of those animals you have mentioned? All those animals that we have mentioned, what are their characteristics? So we're going to characteristics of mammals. So the mammals, Lana, from Roman 1, all mammals are warm-blooded. We mentioned that. They are warm-blooded, all of them. There's no even a single mammal that is cold-blooded, they are warm-blooded. And we mentioned the meaning of being warm-blooded. Warm-blooded is when they have a constant body temperature. When their body temperature does not change according to the environment. When a human being goes to the ice, your body temperature will still remain warm because you shall maintain your body temperature. That is different. Contrary to the cold-blooded animals, whose body temperature does not change. Whose body temperature now changes according to the environment. For human beings that are mammals, the body temperature does not change. But for the cold-blooded animals like a snake, their body temperature changes according to the environment. We mentioned that very, very clearly. So for one characteristic of mammals, they are warm-blooded, which means that their body temperature does not change. Then B, they give birth to young ones. They give birth to young ones. Here you'll be asked maybe the young ones of other thing like a young one of an elephant. Those are calves. It's a calf. So they give birth to young ones. We have a very good example of another mammal, a flying mammal, that is a bat. A bat is a very good example. It flies, but it's a mammal. Why? Because it gives birth to a young one. Another one, it is warm-blooded. Don't see a bat as if a bat is an example of a bird. All birds are in different category. And again, where have we mentioned that except to egg-laying, they give birth to young ones, except, I didn't mention this, except two egg-laying mammals. That is there are only two. One is egg-laying, one is spiny anteater. Spiny anteater. Another one is called dark-billed platypus. Dark-billed. Platypus. So now these are now the only two mammals that are not laying eggs. I mean, they are laying eggs, but they are mammals. They don't give birth to young ones, but they are categorized under mammals. They are mammals that do not behave like other animals. Other mammals give birth to young ones like human beings, but themselves they lay eggs. That's why we have mentioned here. They are egg-laying mammals. And we have mentioned the two of them, spiny anteater and the so-called dark-billed platypus. Dark-billed, dark-billed platypus. The two of them, spiny anteater and dark-billed platypus. Then number three, they walk on their limbs. 1 and 3, these things walk. None of them flies except on their limbs, except a bat. So a bat becomes a very good example of a flying mammal. They all walk on their limbs except for a bat that flies. So it's called a flying mammal. You may be asked. The following are mammals. Are mammals that walk on their limbs, except a bat. A bat will always be there. A bat flies like other birds. Then D, their bodies are covered with fur. Their bodies covered with fur. We can talk of furs. In that manner, though it is furs or hair. For human beings, we don't call it fur. Fur is like the one that lions, dogs have. But for human beings, we talk about hair. Then again, they have mammalian glands, mammary glands to breastfeed. All of them have mammary glands. Just say they have mammary glands to feed their babies. They feed their babies, meaning they all mammals breastfeed their young ones. They all breastfeed. They breastfeed their young ones, and then they breathe through lungs. Very important point. They breathe through lungs. Just like yourself. Remember that all animals that breathe through lungs cannot survive in water. When you get into water, you realize that you are really suffocating. You have to hold your breath for you not to die. So they all breathe through lungs, not like fishes that breathe through gills. So lastly, there we have that most mammals live on the land. We mentioned the ones that live in the sea. We mentioned some few examples of dolphin, whales, and etc. So we call them sea mammals or marine mammals. The ones we mentioned, like dolphin, we had seals, whales, and etc. We can call them sea mammals or marine mammals. Then they include the ones we mentioned. There's some there that their names appear a bit funny, like porpoise. We have porpoise, and we have walrus. So these ones are a bit extinct because we don't interact with them a number of times, but we interact with dolphin, we have whales and seals. But we must know them because they may come in examination and they end up not getting it. So we go to the last one, that is birds. Then we call it a day. We'll do the rest another time. we have birds that is B. We are still in the classification of vertebrate, of mammals. No, of vertebrate, that we mentioned number 1, mammals, then number 2, we have the birds. So what are birds? Birds are a group of vertebrates that mostly fly in the air. These ones fly in the air. So after knowing what they are, I think you know examples of very many examples. You can mention a few of them. All poultry at home, so I just mentioned here, poultry. Or we can just mention like chicken. Chicken for Tukata to be an example of the poultry. And all the poultry that we have at home, like ducks and the rest. Then we also have this one, a vulture. We have examples like a hawk. We have a parrot, etc. So we know the birds. The biggest bird in the jungle, we also have, how do you call it? We also have birds like ostrich. Those are very good examples of birds. Penguin and the rest. So let's go to the characteristics of what is challenging. The characteristics of birds. That we can stop there. So number 1, learner, we must know that all birds are as same to the mammals in one way. Birds almost same to mammals. They are also warm-blooded. I mentioned the meaning of this. Warm-blooded meaning the temperature remains constant. It doesn't change according to the environment of the animal that are warm-blooded, that are cold-blooded. Then they also lay fertilized. So under this, you're going to learn more. There are some that lay unfertilized eggs. They lay eggs on water, and then the male one comes to lay eggs on top of them to fertilize them. Not this one. This one's lay eggs that are already fertilized. So after some time, they'll hatch into the young ones. So they lay fertilized. And mind the word fertilized there. They lay fertilized eggs that are the birds. Then their bodies are covered with feathers. All birds like a hen, just think of a hen, a very good example. Bodies, or just say body covered with feathers. There's no bird that is naked, that has no body covered with feathers. And then another one that they have wings. They have wings. And we know the work of the wings. The wings are for flying. They have wings for flying. Hence, most of them fly. Actually, all of them fly, except some cannot fly for a longer time. Some can only fly for some few minutes. Then they have beaks for eating. They have beaks for feeding. Let me talk of feeding. So they eat food in a way that they don't chew like human beings, but they peck. Most birds peck food. Those that are carnivorous, meaning those ones that are eating meat, also peck the meat. They peck the meat. The one that eat grains, like the one mentioned there, like a hen. A hen pecks the grains on the ground. And then lastly, they have scales on their feet. They have scales. They have scales on their feet. Only their feet. You can't find scales on the beak of a hen or on the other part of the body. The scales will only be found on the feet. And we'll look later the meaning of that, the work of that scale that I found there. So then I want to stop there. And our next lesson we're going to look at reptiles. After reptiles, we look at the amphibians, and then look at the fish. Then we call it a day from there. So until next time, learner, I'm going to give you some little work that is going to cover whatever we have done to check if you have understood. And then until next time, I want to wish you well. Thank you.